What's going on, YouTube? We're going to look at 1/18 scale today. Well, this is one that's came into the collection a short while ago, and getting caught up on all my cars that have been coming in. This is a really nice car for my Mopar collection, my B-body cars, my intermediates, police cars, love them. They're going to do 1975 Dodge Coronet for the California Highway Patrol. Very, very nice car. And I looked back on the history of the CHP because there's a lot of people that have published what cars they used year by year. CHP, especially back then, was known for replacing fleets or adding to the fleet every year. So they'd have new bodies pretty much every year. And 75, 76 wasn't an exception to that. But in 75, they were still using Dodge Monaco. In 75, they might have had a Coronet on a roster, but it could have been a test car because 76 is when this Coronet, last year for the Coronet, was used. And it has a really cool story, and we'll go over that in a little bit. But let's look at this car. The vehicle is similar to what we've seen before. And let's take a look. The only thing really new on this car is some interior equipment and the grille. They did a new grille. They didn't use the Fury grille. It is a Monaco or a Coronet grille. California tags. I didn't detail this yet. The headlights, they're all chrome. The surround, the bezel and everything is all chrome. And in the inside, or the outside of the surround of that grill, is also not black washed correctly. So I'll be going over that and fixing it. But very, very nice looking vehicle. They did add better spacing to the wheels and tires, and we'll look at that in a little bit too. So they kind of addressed the issue that all the previous releases have had, which is the fact that the wheels will sit too far into the chassis, into the body. Let's take a zoom. I really like this. So they got the Coronet badge right there. Thought that was awesome. Some of it came off a little bit. Let's flip it around. We'll get the driver's side Coronet. Some of the stuff that they do to these cars is delicate. The badges and the insignias, all that kind of thing, they can be rubbed off if you don't do it correctly. Now they got the Coronet Dodge on the trunk lid, but it's tampoed on there. It's not what we've seen in previous vehicles. Also, they did the taillights, so that's its own casting. So this bumper has its kind of some stuff on it that's unique to the Coronet. Paint's good and shiny. I also like the fact that they paid attention to using the black around the door and not painted the whole door white, because CHB, they would paint the pillars black, roof would be white, and just the door card basically, or the door panel, outside door skin would be white. Let's take a zoom on the California. Very good detailing, just like on the Z28 Camaro I just did. If we look down, you can almost see that the letters are raised slightly. So it's very thick paint on there. It's got good relief. Let's pick it up on the light. Shotguns in there. No cage. I don't think they did cages back then. They got the map light and the clipboard thing that needs to be detailed. I'm just showing you the car as it comes out of the package. I really didn't do any detailing it to you yet. I will. The package lights are really cool. So this is like, they're trying to do a slick top car, which looks good, but they're missing some details. They don't have any A-pillar spotlights at all. There's no provision for them either. Car like this would have definitely had A-pillar spotlights on it. I did install the antenna. It's too thick, but just so you could see what it looks like. They did pay attention to the fact that these cars had trim. Now you could see a period picture online if you do a Google search of a 1976 Coronet, and it has the body trim except for the two front doors. They're also showing trim around the wheels. I don't know if that's true or not. Some of them had the trim, but simple base, just like all the others. There's my serial number. So, but they're calling it a 75, and I don't see anything that I've seen of the CHP using a 75 model. But they could have. But they definitely have pictures of the 76. And really in 75 they're still using the full-size car, the Monaco, before it had to turn into a Royal Monaco when they started making this body as a Monaco. If that's confusing enough. But that's what happened. They downsized. They got rid of that full platform car for the most part. Chrysler, I think, used it for a while, but Dodge, they got rid of it. They stopped using the big car. No roof number on the car either. It's missing some markings, so it's not completely accurate, but it's real close. There's a lot of 1/18 scale graphics, decals that you can get online and kind of make this car more accurate. The other thing we'll take a look at that's kind of new, we'll flip it around, is the shotgun. I don't think I've seen the shotgun in the other car. The barrel of the shotgun is really thin. It looks like a 20 gauge or smaller, but you know, they would have had a 12 gauge pump, and you'd see it through the windshield here. Let's see if we can get it without glare. It's kind of thin, so I don't know. That could be easily remedied with some plastic bar stock. You can redo that. This is removable. The one thing that I'll complain a little bit, I had to drill the holes into the bumper. Now, if you take this bumper off the car, the spot to drill the holes is relieved on the back of the bumper, so you can drill through the back. That's how they do it in the factory. That's why the molding stays the same. It's just depending on them to drill the hole. Well, I had to take my pin vise and drill the holes, as you can see. This is what the grill looks like without the push bumper on it, or the push bar. I think they did really good when they were doing demo shots of this car. The grill wasn't correct. They were using a later Monaco grill, but had these headlights, and they remedied that pretty quick. But this needs a little bit more black wash, and you can see on the headlights. And I'll show you a comparison. My Fury, I believe this is the 75 Fury, my NYPD car. Once you detail out the surround on the grill and do the headlights with the correct tone of black wash, it looks more accurate instead of it looking so chrome. So not difficult to remedy. I just need to spend a little time with it. But this car is going to go good in the collection, and it'll look good with the Z28. I'm still trying to locate a full-size Monaco from Auto World, Ertl. That one will be good too. They're climbing in value. I saw one at a car show recently. I just didn't pull the trigger on one. It was actually under $100, so it was a decent deal. I just didn't do it at the time. But I'll probably get one. Alright, so the push bar goes on pretty quickly. Again, you just gotta, let's focus a little bit. Sorry about that. You just gotta put this in first. It's not hard. And you just kind of let it sit in the holes on the chassis. And so 1/18 scale. I'm gonna have to do this off camera. I just got too much going on here. There we go. So once the holes line up, it actually puts pressure on it and kind of snaps in place. It's quite accurate. They used those kind of push bars back then. I don't know if it came off the car that much, but it was close. And they also had ones that were like this, but were much closer to the bumper. But it gives the effect. Like I said, the only thing that is down about this car, I'd say, a little bit more graphics and having the A-pillar spotlights. I believe the driver's side one was red and the passenger side one was clear, but I can't remember. I'm pretty sure that's the way it is. The package shelf light was done pretty well. I actually saw a prototype of that on an early vehicle, and I think they use them on the Z28, but I don't think it's the same casting. I think it's a little bit smaller. So I do like that detail. And they do have Highway Patrol on the back deck there, so all in all, not bad. And I'll just say the update. So I was talking about the wheels and tires earlier. They did do a longer post off of the wheel, so the back spacing I don't need adjusted anymore. Like on all the other ones, I had to put spacers on the axles. I think the rear comes out a little too much, but the front's pretty much spot on. Which is funny, they went a little too far in the back, but that's kind of splitting hairs just because it's not bad. That's what it looks like. So the only thing that needed adjusting, was to put the tires on the rim, because they do come loose from the factory. They kind of float a little bit, slightly. I mean, they have a tight fit, but they go back and forth. So I like to put the tire spacing correctly. And then the car looks a lot better. So, and I've gone into detail that in my other videos. You can go check those out. And there's the box. Very cool. It's got the state of California background. And then, of course, the model. Always very cool. They have, of course, the inside of this, they have the clamshell foam that comes together. Protects the car. Again, if you think you're going to move your collection anytime soon, keep these boxes, because all you got to do is just pop this thing back in here and off you go. No damage to the car whatsoever. Very, very cool. Very cool box. And these boxes don't seem to be standard sizes. They're close, but this box is actually bigger than the Grand Marquis box. There's our information again. Oh, and while I'll give you a little update on the Grand Marquis while we're doing a little 1/18 scale roundup. Hope you all enjoyed the Coronet, by the way. Oh, another piece of history. Almost forgot to bring this out before we look at the Mercury update. As I was alluding to earlier, California had a lot of the market. They would buy from the manufacturers every year. And during the 70s and 60s, really, Mopar was pretty much the exclusive provider to California Highway Patrol. So they had a good relationship. They had a few test vehicles from Ford and Chevy along the way, but the majority of the vehicles in service were from Chrysler. Well, they loved the 440. They had a lot of success with the 440, but the 440 was only available in the full size, and I believe that was C platform cars. So Monaco was still the full size. Well, they really wanted to switch to the intermediate, which at the time was the Dodge Coronet and Plymouth Fury, but they were using Dodges, not Plymouths or Chryslers at this time. And they didn't offer the 440 in this car. They had the 400. So in 1976, the CHP again asked, and Chrysler said, we'll try it. So they delivered to California only, supposedly, and I read this online, that in 1976, the Coronet only was available with the 440 in California. Some agencies piggybacked the order, but anywhere else in the country, it wasn't available. And I believe it alludes to that in the sales brochure, that 440 was available in California. They wanted the performance. I mean, it was definitely a high performer in the full-size car, but in this intermediate, it was really, really good. So not only, until recent cars in the 2000s did they finally catch up in the top speed and everything that these cars did with the 440. So even though Greenlight's calling this a 75, I'm going to think of this as a 76 with a 440. I think that'll be fine. All right, update on the Mercury real quick. If you paid attention to last, I did a little lens update on the car. As you can see, the lenses are no longer fully orange. What you need to do is take the whole front end off, and it just pops off. You got to unscrew the base, but they're just a post. Once you separate this front piece, which is plastic, it attaches to the metal body. The lenses and then the bezel of the light come apart. And you just take a little bit of nail polish remover, a little bit of acetone, whatever you think is necessary. It just takes longer with one or the other. This is already kind of a cloudy plastic, so you don't have to worry about it too much. And what I did was I just kind of worked the front area with that said solution, and it separates the light. So they do paint the amber onto this. It's not molded orange plastic. It's actually all clear, one piece, and then they paint this part orange. So all you got to do is just kind of work at it. And I picked the front part and I kind of worked out to the middle so I knew where to break it. I referenced some online photos to remember my brain or to bring up the memory of where it stopped. And I just kept working on it. In about a couple of minutes, I had those lenses all tuned up. So quick tip for you. Nothing crazy. You don't even have to bring out the paint kit. Just get a little bit of a cotton swab, or even a toothpick dipped in the solution will work. And you just got to work it, and it'll slowly come off. So tip of the day for that. Hope you enjoyed the Coronet. We got more to come. I have more 1/64 scale coming, so that is going to be on the channel very soon. Thank you for watching and subscribing and all your wonderful comments. I really do appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed the cars today. If I missed anything, if you have any questions, just leave them below. Be happy to answer them for you. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time.